Okay, so here's the thing. If you're a 6-figure entrepreneur, you're probably making this mistake and I want to help you avoid it. You're making money, you're pulling money in, but your costs of running business and your overhead really high. So you're not paying yourself as much as you should be. You're not taking home as much money as you could. Essentially, your personal bank account is suffering because you aren't managing your overhead properly. So what I want to do here in this video is help you pay yourself more as an entrepreneur, because let's be real, you're the person going out there, doing all the work, taking all the risk, all of the stress is on you. You should be getting paid for that. It's time to pay yourself. And I'm going to walk you through how you need to do this so we can break that cycle so you're getting more and more wealthy every single month. First area of your business that we want to take a look at is the area of discipline. And it's going to sound funny, like, what are you talking about discipline? Well, the book Profit First was a really good starting point for me to start thinking about how I needed to pay myself. It's not perfect. I don't agree with everything in Profit First, but it's a good starting point. What you need to do is pay yourself a set salary before you pay anything else in your business. So what I want you to do right now is go back and look at the average revenue that you've done over the last 6 months. So let's just pretend that it's June, hypothetically. You would want to look back and say, okay, what did I make in June? What did I make in May? What did I make in April? What did I make in March, February, and January? And find the average. So you might have had a high month, low month, high month, medium month, etc. What's the average? And then what you want to do is once you have that average, you want to say, what is a reasonable amount to pay me from that average? So I'm just going to give you an example. Let's say your average over a 6-month period was $7,000. Every single month you pulled in $7,000 on average. And you might say, okay, my average was $7,000. It is reasonable for me to expect that I can pay myself a minimum of $3,000 every single month. You want to estimate a conservative number because this becomes your non-negotiable. So you don't want to say something like, if your average is 7,000, you don't want to say, I'm going to pay myself a minimum of $5,000 per month unless you have very low overhead, because you want to find a number that you know, come hell or high water, no matter what's going on in your business, that's the amount that you can pay yourself without fail. You want to be, and this is important, so I want to drive this point home, you want to be able to always make your own payroll, okay? Now this number, I do this in my own business. This is the number that I base my personal living expenses on. In the interest of transparency, we pull in about $100,000 every single month, cash collected. My living expenses, what I pay myself without fail, is $25,000. I'm rounding up a little bit. It's like 24 or 5, but $25,000. That's my bare minimum that I will always pay myself come hell or high water every single month. Now there's extra money that's distributed as like profit distributions. We'll talk about that. But the bare minimum that I will always pay myself every single month is $25,000. Anything extra that comes in, and sometimes it's quite a bit, right? We pull in $100,000. Sometimes it's quite a bit. That's going to go into investing. That's going to go into saving. That's going to go into other, giving, anything that we want to do in addition. But I know at a minimum every single month, that's what I'm going to pay myself. And that's what I will live on. Back in the day, I really think it was like $4,000 was my bare minimum that I'm going to pay myself. And I would always pay myself $4,000, $4,000, $4,000, $4,000. And that's what I based my living expenses on. This was back when we were living in Delaware, and my rent for a 1-bedroom apartment was like $1,100, right? So I had my husband's salary, my salary, but my rent was like $1,100. So I just based all my living expenses off that $4,000. And I never, I kept my living expenses at $4,000 because that was my minimum. Anything extra, I'll frankly reinvested in the business at that point because I was trying to grow it. Second area of your business we want to take a look at, and if you are making over $5,000, but you aren't yet running a 7-figure business, this is the one you want to really, really pay attention to, because I can guarantee you this is the one you're effing up the most. It's your team. Here's what happens, right? Here's the cycle of entrepreneurship. You just start and you just want to bring money in. You're like in survival mode. You're like, holy shit, I need a client. I need to bring money in. Oh my God, I'm panicking. The world is ending. Sky is raining down upon us. I need a client, right? You're in like full on panic survival mode. I just need a client. I just need a client. I just need a client. I just need another client. Then you hit the next level, which is like, okay, can breathe a little bit. I'm pretty good at figuring this out. I have some money coming in my business every single month that I can count on. So what do? You sign up for a subscription, or you hire your first team member. And very quickly, because typically you have no experience in hiring and no experience in like managing overhead, is it snowballs. And all of a sudden you have 8 people on your team. And let me tell you, this happens. You might not believe it happens, but I coach people every single day in the 100K Mastermind, and a lot of them are working on improving this. Have a bunch of people on your team, a bunch of subscriptions, and you're left with very little. I've had people tell me, like, Maria, I haven't taken a paycheck in 6 months. And they're pulling in $20,000 a month. But that $20,000 a month is going towards their overhead because they haven't learned how to hire people, how to fire people that aren't performing, et cetera, et cetera. And if I were to look at the teams of most 6-figure earners, I can guarantee you I would fire your bottom 20. I would fire 20% of your team at a minimum. Usually one of the things I do when my 100K Mastermind students, they come in, I take a look at their teams and I'm like, this person's gone, this person's gone, this person's gone. And I don't do it to be mean. It's just 6-figure entrepreneurs typically haven't learned how to have those tough conversations. They haven't learned that it's actually a kindness to let somebody go because it's demoralizing to the rest of your team. If you're letting an underperformer coast on your team, it's telling everybody else on the team that they don't matter. So here at Team Maria, you're underperforming, you're gone because it's demoralizing to the rest. It's not fair to everybody else. Obviously, you put good structure in place, you give the employees the tools they need to succeed, but if they continually underperform, yeah, you're going to go because I'm not going to disrespect the rest of my team. So 6-figure entrepreneurs typically haven't learned that yet. So their team is just massive. For perspective, I know somebody who pulls in $3 million a year, and he has 1 VA. He has 1 virtual assistant. He makes $3 million a year. You don't need as big of a team as you think you do. You don't need as much overhead as you think you do. You just don't. I know you think you do. I know you think that Instagram engagement person is really critical or whatever it might be. They're not. They're just not. I like to make sure that my team, each team member creates a 3x income, right? So 3x revenue ROI. Doesn't always happen as kind of a general rule of thumb. Some team members just support the other revenue coming in. But generally speaking, if a team member is placed in a role that's supposed to be bringing in revenue, they should be bringing in at least 3 times what I'm paying them. Frankly, a lot more, but that's kind of a minimum standard. Third thing, subscriptions and tools. It's going to sound silly, like why is subscriptions and tools on here? But it adds up so fast. We spend around $5,000 every single month in subscriptions. And I swear every month I look at my profit and loss statement. I'm like, what can I cut? What can I cut? It stacks up really fast. So what we typically do is every month we analyze. If we can cut something, we cut it. And yeah, I feel like we still pay a ton of money. So I'm personally still looking to like see where I can cut my subscriptions because $5,000 a month on subscriptions is asinine in my opinion. So we're looking to see what we can cut. But the point is this. I learned this from one of my mentors, Aaron, and he's just an incredibly, incredibly smart guy. And he said, profitability is in your waste. So essentially where you're wasting money in your business is where your profit is. And so I always like to use the example of a restaurant business. It has like 2% margins. Restaurants have no wiggle room for mistakes, but coaching businesses and online businesses tend to have quite a bit of margin for profit mistakes. So you can keep that subscription on a lot longer than a restaurant would, or you can, keep that underperforming employee or whatever it might be. You aren't pushed to observe your margins because you don't need to, but the end result is you waste a lot of money. You lose a lot of profit. At the end of the day, it's hurting your personal bank account. And by the way, you should do this in your personal life as well. I evaluate my subscriptions. I evaluate our expenses every single month. And honestly, I do it every single week. I have a guy that categorizes all my transactions and I evaluate it every single week. I take a look at what we spent money on and I say, moving forward, is this something we're going to keep? Is this something we're not going to keep? So every single week, I'm managing my money. And this is something you'll find. Typically, the more you make, the more respect you have for money and the more you pay attention to it and the more you understand what a tool it can be for you to build wealth. And so you understand the power of money the more you have it. And so I find that like the most frugal people and the most intentional people are also the wealthiest people. And they got there by paying attention to their money. Here's a bonus thing that I think a lot of entrepreneurs could do to pay themselves more, or like they do wrong and it costs them money, which is they either aren't spending enough on coaching and mentorships or they're spending it on the wrong ones. I have gotten to where I'm 27 years old at the time of filming, and I am currently taking my 7-figure company to an 8-figure company. And I totally see the path. We're totally moving on it. We will be an 8-figure company in 5 years, if not sooner, frankly. We'll be running a $10 million company in 5 years or less. And I pay anywhere from $5,000 to $15,000 per month on mentorship. It's a high priority for me. And I do it because I want to grow quickly. I don't feel the need to reinvent the wheel. I don't feel the need to, wait until I'm, watched 100 YouTube videos to figure this out. I invest in mentorship because I just want to be like, hey, what am I supposed to be doing? Oh, that? Okay, cool. I'm going to go do that. That's efficiency for me. And I understand that really money is a renewable resource, but time is not a renewable resource. And so I don't want to spend 5 years. Think about how long it would take me to figure out how to learn how to build an 8-figure company on my own. I don't even know if I could. I genuinely don't even know if I could figure out how to do it because there's just so much that goes into it. You have no idea what you don't know, right? And I certainly didn't know how to go from a 6-figure company to a 7-figure company on my own. Well, my advice to you is, if you're going to get a business coach, if you're going to get a mentorship, if you're going to get in a mastermind, first of all, I highly recommend it. And you should check out my 100K mastermind if that's something you're interested in. If not, it's fine. But the thing I want you to know is don't invest in coaches and programs that aren't building the life you want. So I can't tell you how many times people are like, oh, I didn't like how that person did this, or I didn't like how that person did this, or me and that coach weren't a good fit. I'm like, well, why did you hire them in the first place then? Right? Invest in somebody who's living the life you want to live, who shares the values that you share. I'll give you an example. In my 100K mastermind, we only accept students who have a strong work ethic. You have to be willing to work hard because this stuff's not magic. To get from a 6-figure to 7-figure company is going to take work. We also only work with people who operate from integrity. So if I hear around the grapevine that you're not a very good person, I'm not going to accept you into my mastermind. We do the same thing with our team members too, by the way. There was a team we were considering hiring, and we heard some pretty bad things about the person running it. Even though they were really good at their job, we made the decision to not go with that company because our values didn't align. So do the same thing with your mentorships. Do the same thing with your masterminds. If you're interested in the 100K mastermind, you don't really know much about it, here's a little video that I made kind of walking you through what it is. It's really awesome. The results speak for themselves, but I'm going to let you check it out. Hey, Maria here. Just wanted to quickly go over the 100K mastermind, what's included, just give you some quick details on what this all is about. So essentially, 100K mastermind, what we want to do is we want to double your income in 1 year, and we want to get you to 100K months in 3 years. So the way this works is we basically give you the ultimate game plan to scale your business. And what we've done, it's really cool and it's working super well for our students. I'm super proud of them. We've created these scaling projects. And so the scaling projects stack on each other. And so the idea is you implement one scaling project, it adds 10K per month to your revenue. Then you add another scaling project and adds another 10K per month to your revenue. And so the idea is implement 10 scaling projects and bam, you're at 100K months cash collected. And our students who are sticking with it and are implementing it and are actually doing it, it's working super well for them. So a couple examples of some of the scaling projects you're going to get access to. There's just a lot of different things depending on what's going on in your business, and we'll assign you projects based on what you need and what's going to make you money the fastest, but could be 100K courses, 5-figure launches, low ticket sales machine. So we enroll 400 plus customers a week. It's kind of amazing. Email marketing, that's a big one. Our students, typically one of the first things we do is we help them get their list up to 10,000 subscribers for free. So for you, it could be a big one. Scaling with DMs. There's just a lot of different projects. And what we're going to do is take a look at what you've got going on in your business and assign the right project so that you start hitting that 10K and then 20K and then 30K and then 40K and then 50K, et cetera, as quickly as possible. You're also going to have high levels of accountability. Each person's going to have a personal coach that's assigned to you to help you make sure you're actually completing your projects, helping you when you get stuck. I will also be bringing in other millionaire friends, 7 and 8-figure earners, who are going to share what's worked for them. And then a couple things here. So here are some results. You can see here, Kat added $80,000 to her launch just from one of the things that I taught her. She says, your training was the only thing I changed in my business last launch, and I ended up bringing in an additional $80,000. Lori posted that she's celebrating a 6-figure cash month. And then Sarah's been hanging at 135. She's actually a little higher now, as I think are all of these students, but still super exciting, really proud of them. Here's the thing though. here's what we're looking for. So I want you to like look this page over. Here's what we're looking for, right? So we're looking for high vibe women. I'm actually extremely protective of this community, which is why we allow so few people into this community, because it is intimate and it is intentional. And so we say that we refuse to allow you to play at a level that's anything less than phenomenal. So this is what we're looking for. You got to believe that you want to be wealthy and successful. You have to be ready for that, and you're going to do whatever it takes to make that happen. Here's what we're not looking for. So if this sounds like you can just not a good fit, and that's okay. Like, we're fine. We'd rather be really protective of that community to keep it as amazing as it is. So we're not looking for tire kickers. We're not looking for low vibe complainers, people who believe that there's a secret to success. There's no secret to success. It's just a lot of really proven business strategies that are implemented well. So here's what we're going to do. First step, if you're interested, is and you want to be considered to be accepted, you're going to fill out this short application form. We're on the other side. We're going to review it. If we feel like it's a good fit, we're going to reach out to you and walk you through the next steps. Let me know if you have any questions. Thanks again. Thank you so much for watching this video. Remember, you can pay yourself a lot more than you probably are. Hopefully this video helped. If you liked it, hit that like button. Be sure to subscribe if you aren't already part of my original 10,000 subscribers, and I'll see you in the next one.